Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Amanda Dodson, and I am the Director of Maternity Services for JANZ Corporation. And today I have with me Natalie Doyen. She is a certified doula stationed out at NAS Fallon, Nevada.
Mhm.
And she is also one of our doula participants with our up and coming JANZ Mom community. So I'm excited to have her here today and share more about her services, her experience as a military spouse, and what she does for her military community. All right, Natalie, the floor is yours. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I am a mother of three girls. I have a 10, a 7, and a 2-year-old. Um, I have been a military spouse for 13 years,
Wow.
and we've been everywhere. We started on the East Coast, and then we traveled to the West Coast. We went overseas, where I had my last little baby. So that was kind of a fun experience delivering in Japan. And now we're back here in the desert in good old Nevada.
Oh my gosh. And before we jumped on here, we were talking just a little bit about your time over in Japan, and the world is just so small with some of the people that we've known, even though I've never met you face to face. The doula community, especially in the military, is really small. So it's just interesting to see where we all land and how our
Mhm.
paths cross. So, um, what inspired you to get into doula work?
I had actually never heard of a doula until about, I don't know, 2.5 years ago when I was in Japan. My husband was deployed on the ship and I was pregnant. And so, being overseas, we didn't have the opportunity to have like a regular military facility to deliver. And you don't have, being on base, you don't have midwives or home births. It's not allowed. So, really my only option was to birth in town at their local hospital clinic. And so I had a girlfriend who was from the North Carolina area, and she was actually a DONA certified birth doula. And so just our relationship kind of blossomed. And she said, "Hey, if you want, I will attend your birth and help you out." And so I was like, "Okay, well, what is this new ride?" And so she kind of explained what she does and how she helps with comfort measures and acts really as my support person to bring me comfort in all of the unknowns. And so she had tons of reading materials and things that kind of got me in a good frame of mind to prepare me to deliver in a foreign country that was not English speaking. So I really think it clicked whenever I had my miracle birth with my third baby. After two a little bit traumatizing births, just seeing the value that she was able to provide me with her education resources gave me confidence. And I think it really opened up the door to have a healing, natural, unmedicated birth with my last one.
Wow, wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing, and I hear those stories so often of just how you have this beautiful experience where, almost healing experience, and then you wanna learn how to do that and help others, so that's amazing. So did you take your doula training when you were stationed overseas?
No. So as soon as we got stateside, Addie was 7 months, and I was thinking, I've been a military spouse. I've held the home front for 13 years, and it was time for me to get an identity again. So I really started soul searching on what I thought my purpose would be. And so I prayed, and God guided me towards building women. I've always had a love for building and empowering women. And so through my birthing process on my last little baby, I was like, this is what we all need. We all need someone to really cultivate and just wrap their arms around our women, our birthing women. And so I found the training and I researched some of the best programs that there were, because if I was going to do it, I wanted to do it the right way and just really knock it out. And so I found my training class and attended that. And then we were guided towards the DONA International certification process, which is quite a big process. It takes a long time to do. However, if you just stick with it and knuckle down, then you can get through it. And I just got my birth and postpartum certifications internationally, so that if we do go overseas again, I can support moms.
Awesome, awesome, and that is
Yeah,
a really needed uh, place for our military families. You know, you having experienced that, and just my own experience as military spouse and doula supporting families overseas. It is a very untouched community, and
yeah,
now that TRICARE is covering and some of these services, it's a benefit, but there's still a lot of gaps in education that need to take
absolutely.
place. Yeah, there's really not a lot of support that still needs to take place, and just getting more doulas trained and out there supporting our military families too. All right, so you've been at your new duty station for just what, a couple years now?
About a year and a half.
Okay, okay. Have you started diving into doula support there?
Yeah. So the second that I completed my training, we were encouraged to start gathering our moms, and so I started with a tiny little post, just kind of saying who I was and, hey, I'm new to the community here. We're a town of 8,000 people, so we're very small. And most people's response was, doula, what's a doula? And I really think they thought I would like burn sage and chant around the room, which I would, but that's not exactly what we do.
Right.
So most of it's been education, educating the community on what a doula is and how we help, and then guiding them through the process of seeing, if they're a good match or not. So yeah, I made a post and I said, hey, I'm offering free support for a few moms. If you want to, give me a try, let's do it. And I'm telling you, it was like message after message. And I think that's why I was so successful completing my program quickly, is because the need is just there. The moms need the support. The women, even though we are stateside,
Mhm.
husbands still deploy here and do workups. And unfortunately, the military doesn't have time to leave the guys at home. They have to go perform. So a lot of my military moms come to me, and typically their husbands are either leaving or they just don't have a clue. It's the first time. They don't have a clue on how to help their wives. So we do a lot of childbirth education
Mhm.
and comfort measured educations. And we just really go into the family and make sure that we're a good fit first, and kind of guide them through the process before they're in their laboring process.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. That is so important to for families to have the educational and then understand what a doula's role is, so they value your
right.
services as well. Have you been able to reach out to like some of your local providers? Are they receptive to doula support at your area?
So our base, they are becoming more aware of the TRICARE program. I'm really advocating for it here, just so that because I think a lot of our families just don't need that they don't know they have this benefit. So getting the word out there that, hey, you guys, TRICARE recognizes you guys need us, and we are willing to come into your families and help you. So really just advocating for the program, that these are your benefits and this is how you go about it. Um, I think I think that most of our families, um, they have an option here. Once they find out they're pregnant, they then get outsourced to a bigger hospital because we
Okay.
don't have a
Okay.
birthing center.
Okay.
Our local one here, Banner Hospital, they have 3 providers, and I've worked with all 3 of them. We have a good relationship.
Good.
They again, one of them came from a larger hospital, so they know, kind of about doulas, and then a couple of them don't. But through seeing a couple of unmedicated natural births that have just been beautiful and progressed really well, they're like, well, maybe these ladies are good to have around. So we do have a good working relationship, and they are really willing to learn some of the new things that we've been taught, especially the nursing staff. They're very progressive.
Mhm.
They really want the added support, because sometimes they have to go and chart, and they have to do the paperwork and things,
Mhm.
where we can really focus our time with our moms and staying right next to them and giving them the physical and emotional support that they need throughout the process.
Yes, yeah. Oh
Yeah.
gosh, yeah. That is so important. Doula never leaves.
No,
And I
we
don't
don't
think
leave.
sometimes people understand that I'm sure there are some like doula agencies or maybe just practices where they might switch out after a certain amount of time. But
Right.
I feel like most of the time we're with those parents from the time that they go into labor till a couple hours after they give birth. So
Yeah.
it can be a long span or a short span.
Right. And unfortunately, here we don't have a whole lot of doulas. I'm the only DONA certified one right now. So really getting the word out there to these women, these spouses as well, that they can do this same process as me if their heart is in the birthing community, and opening doors for them so that when I leave Fallon for the next duty station,
Mhm.
someone else is here to kind of pick up the front.
Right, right, exactly, exactly. It is a transient type of job. And
Yeah.
you can and I've told, doulas in the past and just other people that you're gonna get out as much as you put into it. So if you want to really make this a big thing, you're gonna invest that time into it. But if you just wanna maybe do a birth once a year,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
gonna, happen too. And I think sometimes it depends like on our spouses'
Yeah.
schedules and kids, all that stuff. There's a lot of other factors involved in that. So it is nice to have a good group of doulas available, for backups too.
Yeah.
It's always nice having a good backup in
Yes,
place.
exactly. We're
Oh,
working on it. We're
yeah,
working on it.
I hear you. I hear you. So, what like are some of the needs maybe that you see in your military community when it comes to support? Do you notice like you touched a little bit on like childbirth education or just the educational component of it? Do you notice any particular gaps in support?
Being a remote location, I think a lot of these families feel kind of alone because they don't have, so they just found out they're pregnant and then they get transferred to the hospital. Well, it's kind of a big, that's a big gray area. So lactation support, I know that's covered under TRICARE now.
Right.
Breastfeeding classes, really just encouraging our moms to build a community. Through postpartum doulas, we can
Hmm.
come into the home and kind of do like a newborn education, because there aren't those classes here. That it's just not offered
Okay.
yet. So I think having a childbirth class to prepare you on the front end,
Hmm.
meeting with your birth doula, having your labor support. But then when you come home, these families, that's where they really need the intimate care, because mom's recovering, dad could be gone, or mom's recovering and dad doesn't know what to do with a newborn. So coming into their home and teaching them some newborn basics and really guiding them on how to become the new family that they are, and supporting them, really showing them, that they can do this and it's been done for hundreds and thousands of years, and it's it's really just giving them the pause so that they can take the break and enjoy their new baby and not have to worry about, meal prep or
Hmm.
naps or certain things. So I think that by having doulas in the community, we can be the eyes on the ground. If mom, let's say, is feeling a little off, we can notice those symptoms and signs pretty quickly, and then we have a huge referral resource. So we can give them resources to go and talk to a guidance counselor, or we can give them resources to a lactation consultant. We can help troubleshoot small breastfeeding things. But I really think getting in the bases and and providing new families with specific classes, childbirth class, breastfeeding class, postpartum depression class, or newborn basics, just
Hmm.
educating families, I really think is the best route, because through information and knowing, you can remove fear.
Exactly, exactly. That is so, so, so very true. Empowering our parents,
Yeah,
empowering our community. And I love that you brought up like the resource side of things too, because as doulas, we have to build our resource list. And even
yes.
more so for those in the military community, we're having to build a resource list every few years
Yeah,
when we
exactly.
move. So oftentimes we're the ones finding like the maybe the more holistic approach or finding those postpartum doulas. I sometimes see families in our area asking about like the belly binding and who
Yeah,
does that. So your providers aren't always going to know or even be able to send those resources out where, hey, I know this doula over here that would be able to help you. Some do and some don't. I feel like it's hit or miss, but we're that resource. You're the one somebody can go to and be like, hey, I'm looking for a postpartum doula. Do you know lactation classes around, or maybe a prenatal massage therapist, those types of things.
absolutely.
Yeah, we're definitely tasked to do that and get our resource list together. All
Yeah.
right. Is there anything that you would like to add, or maybe a couple tips for our local families?
Um, I really think I really think that educating yourself, whether you're pregnant or wanting to become pregnant, knowing what your options are and where you would birth is very important. And then having a sounding board such as a birth and postpartum doula to be able to give you information, because a lot of times whenever my new families are going into the hospital they don't know about, or we're forming a birth preference list,
Hmm.
they don't know what delayed eye care is, or they don't know certain terminology. So I really think as a new family, researching your options or asking your doula to send you information on these. We're kind of the birthing experts when it comes to knowing where to get the information, the right information, not what you're
Right.
going to find on Instagram or not what you'll Dr. Google, but getting good evidence-based information to these families so that they can make good guided decisions. Um, so that would be first, is the education part of what bringing home a new baby looks like. And then second, really relying on your families, your military families, your community to help um, tribe around you, because I truly believe that it takes a tribe to raise children. I have three, and I have made some of the best friends and the strongest relationships with these girls that were my neighbors.
Hmm.
So really just diving into your military community and researching all of your options with TRICARE and with your insurances to see what resources are out there for you, I think would be a great first couple of steps when it comes to becoming a family.
Yeah, I agree. Those are some really good points. Now, how can somebody connect with you at your location? Do you have a Facebook page, website?
Sure. So I'm on Facebook at Natalie Doyen Doula, it's first and last name Doula. And then also my website is www.nataliedoyendoula.com. And that's going to have a more detailed about me and kind of the services that I offer. I always like to say too that because I know that we have several different levels of enlisted families, that we work on sliding scales and we try and make sure, at least my heart is to try and make sure that all of your care is covered, whether it be through TRICARE, where you can find me as a non-network provider, or if you wanted to go above and beyond and do more, have more postpartum care.
Hmm.
So you can find me online or on Facebook.
You have options.
Yeah, options.
I like options.
I like it.
Oh, awesome. Well, I am really glad we got an opportunity to sit down and learn a little bit more about you. I think we're going to be talking about getting kind of an event set up through Jan's Moms. That's another way for
Yeah.
people to find you. We have a Facebook page for Jan's Moms Nellis because you're one of our doula participants. You're going to be helping families learn more about like maybe their breast pump options and some other maternity care products, and help them to get that information before a baby comes to, and also being that resource for doulas. But we need to brainstorm like a maybe a fun event for your community and get that up and going. So I really appreciate your time today, Natalie. And again, we're going to share all that information below, how to contact you, our JANZ Mom Facebook page. And, we're excited to have you and help support you.
Yeah, things are changing in the military community, and it's going in a good direction. So
It is.
keep it moving forward.
Exactly, exactly. And, there's no looking back. And I think
No.
I would at least like to think that most of us really want to see things better for our maternity care system in the military and for families who really need this support, because like,
Yeah.
we've done the work. We've seen the boots on the ground, personal experiences. We've seen how important this type of support is for our family, and now it's just working out some of the kinks
Yeah, it's
along the
okay.
way.
We'll
We'll
get
get
those
there.
things worked out. It'll be okay. We'll do
It
it.
will. It will, sooner or later. Sooner or later. Well,
Forging forward.
it is. Well, thank you so much, Natalie, for your time, and I look forward to talking to you again. All right.
Yes, absolutely. You guys take care.